An all-new 2020 starts right now.
Good morning, everyone. It's Friday with our temperature today, a high of about 78.
The morning of October 2nd, 2020, we were at a diner here in Carrollton having a little meeting breakfast with our sergeants.
This was on a Friday, so that was one of my regular days off. I occasionally will work off-duty jobs. I happened to be working at a bank that morning.
Had my very first mammogram ever that morning. You have to put everything in a locker and lock your things up.
It was during that meeting that we got a radio that there was a shooting at the Green Tree Apartments.
In Carrollton, Texas. I was just down the street from Green Tree to get a call from my sergeant. He asked me to come help.
My phone went off. It was a Facebook notification, and the exact words were, "Is it true? I just heard about Alyssa. What happened?"
911, what is the address of the emergency?
It's 1120 MacArthur Drive. I need an ambulance immediately.
Okay, I'm going to get some help headed that way. Now tell me exactly what happened.
Someone came up and just shot my assistant manager. I need someone here immediately.
Don't touch anything, okay? This is an active crime scene, okay?
Who all's in here?
Just me and my coworker. We just getting our day started.
Okay.
I came in at 9 o'clock. I was in the computer working, and then Tony comes in around 9:06. When suddenly we heard like a car like really close to the parking lot.
And we're like, what the hell is he parking like that?
And then we just heard a booming sound.
I'm right here in the sprayer. Okay. Water.
You were watering the plants.
Yeah.
And then what? ¿Y luego qué viste?
Vi que llegó un carro y atrás del carro llegó otro más carro, ¿verdad? La muchacha iba a salir, pero no pudo salir porque él llegó y pum, pum.
This is a crime scene now. We gotta tape it off.
And cuando the chop, the chop, and I say, hey, looking with what happened.
Did you hear one shot?
Only one shot, okay. Yeah.
Is she awake?
She's awake.
Okay, how old is she?
She's 24 years old.
Do you know who she is?
Yes, she's my assistant manager.
Okay.
It's the first day.
Growing up, she was very headstrong, but she also had like the heart of gold. We had our times, right? Like mothers and daughters do, but I can say she's the one who, anytime I needed anything, she was there.
I am Alyssa's sister. We're 6 years apart, I believe. She was always the cooler, older sister that I always looked up to. For my 18th birthday, my mother did this huge party, and she actually got Alyssa to make a video.
Hey Taylor, happy birthday, 18. Now that you're getting into adulthood, we're gonna become best friends and we're gonna make lots of new memories.
We can do everything together now that you're older. And so that was like really awesome for me at that time.
Me and Alyssa became friends in the 6th grade. I was kind of getting bullied, and she asked me to ride the bus home with her, and we were inseparable ever since. She's always been like a mama bird, and she was bold and strong and had to teach me kind of how to stand on my 2 feet. She gave me my braveness. There was not a room that she could walk in that her presence wouldn't be known.
Whenever she got pregnant, it was very out of the blue. She was very scared, but determined she was going to go through with it.
As soon as her baby came, she was all mom mode.
I think that the most beautiful part of Alyssa's life was when she became a mother to Willow.
We support her for changing her whole lifestyle for that kid.
You have this beautiful 24-year-old mom who is trying to make a life and just was one of the absolute best moms.
Shortly before 9 a.m. on October 2nd, Alyssa Burkett pulled into the parking lot of the Green Tree Apartments where she worked as an assistant office manager. She was likely sitting in her car when an assailant dressed in all black approached her car from the driver's side.
The assailant, he pulled right here, and he got out, and he shot her through the driver's side window. And then he got back in, started to back out, thinking that he had done his job.
I heard that pop. I turned around, I knew it was a gunshot. Okay. So I was like, what the? So I turned around, I peeked out the window, I see a Ford Explorer. It's like a black, navy blue, something like that.
There is a video that is inside that shows the leasing office, and it shows the two coworkers that were here.
We dig down, me and Tony, we got down, and then we ran to the other window to take a close look of the truck. And I noticed it was a black one. And he was dressed everything in black, like everything.
The bastard came out, he was trying to pull away when I saw him. He knew that I saw him, so he tried to run off after he popped her.
Okay. And they hear the gunshot, and then they're trying to figure out what to do.
Me and Tony, we ran. I was like, he's gonna try to do something to us. So I ran and I told him to call the cops.
He tried to go into his car, he was pulling out, but he noticed that she stepped out, so she was still trying to live.
Ella abrió la puerta y salió.
So she was shot, and then she comes out of her vehicle?
Sí.
He realized that Alyssa had gotten out. She was fighting to get into the leasing office where she knew her coworkers were. He stops, sees her, comes back, runs out with a knife.
The suspect got out of his vehicle, followed her up here along this path.
Drops the sheath over here on the sidewalk, and then catches up to her on the stoop of the leasing office, where he proceeded to stab her multiple times.
Hey guys, I'm gonna start taping stuff off. Did you see him holding the knife?
Yeah, in the hand.
You saw him holding the knife?
Yeah.
Okay. We couldn't help her, obviously. I he's strapped. What the hell am I gonna do? Okay. So then I wanted to call the police.
Where is the shooter?
He's gone. He left in his car.
Okay, how long ago did he leave?
He literally left a second ago.
Okay, what did he leave in a vehicle?
Yes, he left in a vehicle.
What's the color and type of vehicle? Do you know?
It's just a black tornado one. I didn't get a good look at it.
Was she shot in the chest or in
her arm?
In her arm?
I can't tell. There's blood all over the place.
How badly was she wounded?
Ella estaba bien herida, bastante sangraba ella.
A lot of blood.
Mucha, sí. Solo se veía que respiraba.
She was still breathing.
Is she still conscious or has she gone completely unconscious at this point?
She looks unconscious, but she's fighting.
As I'm coming back out to get my things, my phone is just ringing non-stop, and I'm like, what is going on? It was my supervisor calling. She's like, I'm calling about Alyssa, and you need to go to Green Tree.
According to the witnesses, nobody actually saw it happen. They just heard the pop.
It was just call after call after call. I got a phone call. It was my friend, and all she said was he stabbed her. I said, who?
What's going on?
And then I remembered her saying she was shot.
You went that way?
It was really just a scramble of trying to figure out what happened and who did it.
On October 2nd, unfortunately, it is a day that I replay a lot. The whole world was spinning. I felt my heart break that day.
I remember pulling up. I see all of the lights, the ambulance, the police, and I remember asking, she didn't make it, did she? And he was like, no, she didn't. And then I remember just losing it from that point on.
Oh my God.
I just didn't want it to be true that Alyssa had died and that they didn't know where Willow was.
We're in the parking lot of the Green Tree Apartments. This is where we were for the murder investigation of Alyssa Burkett. When I arrived, it was the most brutal scene I think I'd ever been to. You could just see the rage and the hate that was in the killer's mind and heart.
Don't touch anything. This is an active crime scene.
We knew we had a lot of evidence. We had Alyssa's car. That was a crime scene in and of itself. We also collected the knife sheath that was here on the sidewalk.
Piece of a knife laying over here in front of the car.
That the suspect had dropped.
We heard a pop.
We want to talk to everybody that's on scene.
Y'all come with me, please? Were you here when everything happened?
Yes. All the witnesses had very similar descriptions.
He come out right there and he was like, get the car, black car. Like an SUV car?
Black SUV backed up and stopped. The one consistent thing that I remember is them describing him as an African-American male with a beard.
It wasn't look like a black guy.
I see the face, black guy.
Alyssa had this feeling that someone was watching her. After Alyssa's murdered and the police are examining her car, they find a tracker.
It seemed like there was something else that we were missing pretty early on, and we were. It's kind of murder 101. I mean, you always start with the closest circle to that victim, then you work out.
Alyssa had told me that she had met someone, they had been dating a little bit. When we met, I just thought, oh, okay, he seems like he's this nice guy, and okay, we're good to go.
Alyssa and Andrew met online in 2018. He was 10 years older than her. And he told me on the phone that at the time they met, he was well established. He owned his own house, he had a great job selling power tools, and he even owned his own airplane.
She seemed like a very caring, funny, loving person.
Andrew wanted eventually to settle down and have children. He was this warm, giving, loving man that put others first.
I knew that she was seeing someone, and it wasn't like anything serious. And then she, found out that she was pregnant with Willow.
I just asked her straight up, okay, well, do you want to go look at a place and move in? And she looked like she was very relieved for that. Well, I said, okay, well, let's do that.
They found a beautiful home on the lake in a suburb of Dallas. He envisioned that they would raise their daughter there.
I know she felt very uncomfortable about it. I was like, well, are you going to move in there with him? And she was like, well, the deal was he was going to help her go to school and all of these things.
Everything had to be on his terms and his way, and she was just like, no, this is not the deal for me, and I don't want to do that.
Which is why she moved out 2 weeks later.
When Willow was born, he was at the hospital.
Holding Willow was probably one of the most fulfilling moments. From the beginning, we absolutely had the full understanding that we're just going to be co-parenting.
She wanted it to be fair. She wanted him to have time with Willow, a relationship with him. So that's what she agreed to.
She was always team co-parent, and if we can be civil, that's in the best interest of Willow.
After they had come to this agreement and mediation, everything was fine.
All right.
And then Holly came into the picture.
Willow, get your fishies.
That's when everything went south.
I've loved two women in my life, and Holly was one of them.
Holly's a big personality, exudes energy and passion.
A turtle.
Their relationship was really intense because it was COVID, and they were spending 24/7 together from the moment they met.
She was jumping into almost like a stepmother role, it seemed like, right off the bat.
Andrew and Holly met with Alyssa and her guy, and it was all very amiable and very, gosh, we should, why wouldn't we just get along? Let's do that.
Andrew seemed to like some of the things he was hearing, but Holly didn't. She really took that as her launching point to tell Andrew, look, you got to be a man about this, almost belittling him on a routine basis.
What started off as an amicable co-parenting scenario quickly turned into a bitter custody battle.
I always tell people that Alyssa used to have a really bright light, and then all of a sudden her light was gone. Something was wrong.
I had worked a case a month before for an anonymous drug tip that involved Alyssa. The drug tip came from here at Green Tree.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
I'd like to report someone selling drugs in my apartment complex, also doing them.
The call seemed very unusual to me. This was very specific. It was Alyssa Burkett. It was marijuana. It was hand-to-hand transactions.
Where they did find drugs in the trunk of her car.
Just a box with some marijuana, a little bit of money, and a gun. Miss Burkett insisted that she had never seen that before.
Shockingly, there's no fingerprints whatsoever. The pistol, the serial number was etched out.
There was always something not right with this call.
She's scared to death at this point. It's like, what is next?
1 month after that 911 call, Alyssa would be dead.
I was there when we get word that Teresa was on scene, right? And she's in so much pain and she's so angry. She knew about the anonymous drug tip a month prior.
I knew that it was him when the drugs didn't work in the car for him to get the baby. She even said, I think he's the kind of person that's gonna try to kill me. And he did, and he did. Oh my God.
She was sitting there screaming at Andrew, and knowing that from the witnesses' accounts that it was a black male that we're looking for, in the back of my mind, it wasn't really adding up.
While police are talking to Alyssa's mother, they find out that Andrew had custody of baby Willow that day.
I want my grandbaby away from him.
Do you know what kind of car he drives?
He has like a white Ford truck.
Our brother, something's happened, so there are people right now that would like to talk to you. Like, freaking out, what is going on?
Andrew and Holly lived together at their Flamingo address in Rowlett. So we had Rowlett PD out here to survey the house while we had our own resources and Detective John Meyer and Matt Burnham.
The call we got, they said they saw Andrew and Holly leaving and possibly had luggage with them. We happened to be pulling onto the street at the exact same time that Andrew's truck was coming head on to us. So Matt hit the lights on his truck. We were in an unmarked covert vehicle. Andrew came to a stop. We had them exit the vehicle separately.
All right, take a seat. Sit right there.
So I'll talk to you about what's going on here in 1 second. Our brother, something's happened right now. That's why we're here. I can't go into details on what it is, but it's pretty significant. Okay. So there are people right now that would like to talk to you. Would you mind going, like, I know the tour, but mind going to the treasure? I'm like freaking out. To be honest, do I need an attorney for this, or what is going on?
When the police pull over Andrew, they don't tell him that Alyssa's been murdered. And the body cams are rolling, and he doesn't seem too surprised, but also doesn't seem too edgy.
Hey, Mark, do they have a kid?
I knew that he had just gotten Willow from Alyssa, and I'm thinking she is in danger, and we need to go get her.
We all knew he had an airplane. That was like a huge concern, is that he was going to take off on that airplane and we'd never see the baby ever again.
So after we got Holly and Andrew out of the car, I observed that Willow, the daughter, was in her car seat in the back seat of the pickup. Yes, the daughter's in a car seat in the back seat.
The AC is on and everything?
Yeah, I can go double check that one.
Here's her bottle, she should be okay.
Andrew and Holly had said they'd been at the house, they were relaxing all morning.
We're just going to brunch.
Okay.
TLC on the way.
Okay.
What in the world?
Holly was overly cooperative too. I asked for consent to search her purse because she wanted some stuff out of it.
I just need my small.
Just the small?
Louis Vuitton
Okay.
bag.
And she was like, oh yeah, go ahead. Can we leave your passport in the truck? Is that cool? Because obviously you're not going out of the country today.
No, I just got back from Mexico a couple days ago, actually. I'm not leaving the country, so as long as I can have it back in the near.
Yeah, you'll get it back
sometime
eventually.
new.
Yeah, it's going to be in the truck. We're not taking it.
I was in Granite Bay in California, and I get a call from Holly. And she goes, Andrew and I got pulled over, and, it was horrible. They pulled guns, and I was like, what?
I'm taking your phone and her phone right now, but I will allow you to call the attorney first. Take it, and then if you can leave here and just go straight to the Carrollton Police Department, and they'll advise you.
They were just trying to do everything they could to try to get them back to the PD for an interview so that way we can get them in a room and talk to them, kind of figure out what they knew, kind of see if there's anything that would lead us down to a suspect.
We asked for consent to search the vehicle at the scene, and Andrew told us we couldn't search the truck. But we had enough developments coming from the crime scene to get a search warrant for the truck. How about going to the Rowlett Police Department?
I would rather just wait at home, get my baby safe.
You're not going in your house, right?
Okay, but you tell me I'm not allowed in my house.
Because we're about to run a search.
We told them that they weren't allowed to go back to the house. They wanted to keep it where no one came in and no one went out.
The decision was made, he's not leaving with the truck. If he wants to go, they can go to the police department.
Yeah, we'll just leave it, that's fine.
So we see Andrew and Holly leaving with Willow, carrying her in her car seat, and they go to get an Uber because they can't go home.
The order was given to us, like, hey, stay with Andrew, like, make sure that they don't throw anything out of the car. And as we're traveling, they take an exit that we weren't expecting. And it was at that point the attorney was on the phone.
Hey, Shirley. So I don't know if something serious is going on, and they said that we have to go to Carrollton Police Station. If I can't, they say I can't go home.
Yes, ma'am.
Seems very confused about what's going on. Yeah, I mean, I can guess what's going on. His baby mama is mad, and she's now made some false complaints against him again.
I'll be completely honest with you. Baby mama was murdered this morning at her work.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Andrew and Holly had originally agreed to come to the police department to speak to us. And somewhere along the way, he decided he wasn't going to do that anymore.
They never went to the police station. They went to an Airbnb. They had nothing. They had no change of clothes or anything for Willow.
We knew where they were, we knew where Willow was, but we couldn't take Willow.
I feel like that was a dangerous person and they knew it at that point, and why would they have left her? Yeah, I was upset.
And our next goal now is we still have the house. So we write up a search warrant, which ultimately gets signed by a judge.
That same night, officers go inside Andrew and Holly's house.
Carrollton Police Department search warrant. If you're in there, come out with your hands up.
We probably have no less than 6 detectives there. And we go through the house room by room by room.
I got up top, clear. There's a hallway to the right there.
One of the first things that we do find was a Diamonds Direct envelope that had like a receipt for an engagement ring that I presume was for Holly. But on the back of that envelope was basically the script for the drug tip.
Written on that envelope, all the details the caller needed to make that false accusation against Alyssa.
There's Alyssa's license plates on here, the address for the green tree, and other information that was needed to make that call. So once we saw that, it was like, okay, we're on the right path.
The room that was a spare bedroom that was full of junk, had heaps of clothes on the bed, all kinds of stuff. One of us found a box for a tracker inside that room.
These are the tracker boxes and charging stations that we found in one of the bedrooms at Andrew Beard's house. These are identical to the ones that we were able to find under the cars. We didn't find the gun that we were looking for.
Right.
But what we did find was what came to be a homemade silencer.
We started getting the puzzle pieces together.
After police are done searching Andrew's home, they start canvassing the area, and they find this black Ford Expedition that looks a lot like the vehicle that the killer was driving.
We all rushed over to this area, and that's when we found the black Expedition parked along the side of the road up here.
Witnesses reported seeing a black man driving away in that type of vehicle. But things aren't always what they seem.
When we searched that vehicle, that was the mother lode of evidence. Didn't find much in Holly's car, but we found a nice bunch of Easter eggs in Andrew's vehicle.
We found Willow's diaper bag. Inside were several trash bags, and in each one were boots that had been cut up and then doused with bleach.
The other things we found in that bag were these dark Java-colored makeup vials.
And inside that abandoned black SUV, they find one last piece of the puzzle.
This is the beard that we found in the vehicle. This also had DNA from Andrew as well as Alyssa on it. You can actually still see that discoloration from the makeup on the beard. I immediately thought, well, there's our African-American male. Yeah. I'd never seen someone go to that length to try to paint themselves to look like another race.
I would say between the truck and the expedition and the treasure trove that was found there, it was overwhelming.
It was just small pieces of that puzzle that came together.
All along, it was Andrew in disguise, wearing dark makeup and a beard.
The ham-handedness of some of the things that they did is just so buffoonish.
The judge signed the warrant for Andrew's arrest for the murder of Alyssa Burkett. We arranged for Andrew to surrender here at the Carrollton Police Department, and he did that mid-afternoon, I think.
Hi, how you doing? And you're Andrew. Yes, sir. Come on back, buddy.
I just knew, okay, well, the police are going to get me any minute.
In my mind, this isn't real. My son would not do this. And I remember one of the female law enforcement ladies saying, "You don't know your son." And it turns out that there's a chunk in there that I couldn't possibly have known.
He thought he could beat this up until the day that he decided, I can't beat this. And I think that's why Holly came in the day or so after Andrew's arrest. She was using that opportunity to come and get what we had on Andrew.
I believe that he told you something and then told you don't tell the police that I was gone for a few hours this morning.
He did not.
We have video all over the neighborhood and all over the neighborhood to the north.
Then why can't you show me?
Because I'm not going to show you all that.
Our investigation, it's our case.
Okay.
We would talk to her about her relationship with Andrew, and she's very adamant. She says, Andrew would never do this. He's not that type of person.
I don't believe Andrew's capable of murdering someone.
And I'm offering you,
I
will walk you down the road and show you the photos of why I know he's a murderer.
I don't want to see violent
Then
things.
you don't care. Then you don't care to know the truth.
I do want to know.
You don't if you're shutting this out.
It's only because I am prone to anxiety and panic attacks and things like that. So if I get in a certain frantic way, I'm just concerned about my own actual condition.
Listen.
With Holly not providing much information and police worried that Andrew might be a flight risk, they set his bail at $1 million.
So while Andrew is locked up in jail, Holly and Andrew's mom become super close. In fact, the two of them are living together at this point.
Holly and I were linked arms. We're never leaving each other's side. This is terrible, you know. I was genuinely afraid.
So Holly is living with Andrew's mother for, a short period of time. And then she decides to pack up and go back home to Michigan.
I said, Holly, Andrew's coming here tomorrow. Don't you want to be here? And she said, my dad really needs me. She left and never came back. And that told me so much.
When Andrew bonded out, it surprised me, but it also concerned us because he's got the means and ability to get out of town if he had to.
So the police contact the FBI because when they searched Andrew's home, they found this unregistered silencer. And the FBI says, you know what? That's something that we can charge on federally.
That gave me some hope that we were going to be able to get him back into custody.
Police discovered that those GPS trackers found in Alyssa's car, technically they'd been operating across state lines. So prosecutors pursue the federal charge of cyber-stalking resulting in death and discharging a firearm.
You think, well, yeah, he put a tracker on a car, right? But did they ever leave Texas? Luckily for us, bad for them, is that the company, Spybot, was based out of Florida. And so servers and all that stuff was out of Florida.
With Andrew's case now turned over to the feds, he's rearrested on those charges, ensuring that he cannot bond out again. The state murder charge is dropped. And as for Holly Elkins, well, she's no longer the supportive fiancée.
It was a bit expected because when she was asking for money for some house project while I'm in the midst of this, that's when I realized you're not really worrying about what I got going on right now.
I spoke to Andrew Beard from behind bars. This is the first time he's speaking out about the case. Your mother supported you the whole time. When you decide to plead plead guilty and you had to call her. What was that conversation like?
I called my mom with the plea agreement in front of me, and I told her that, I'm guilty, and I am guilty, and she didn't even comprehend that.
It seemed surreal. And he said the reason that he held out so long was because he didn't want to disappoint me. And he had such regret, and not, as you would think, regret for being caught. He had regret about doing what he did to the mother of his child and to his child.
Your mother thought that if you'd seen her the weekend before this happened, you would not have gone through with it.
Oh, hands down, there's no way it would have happened. But I hate telling her that, because then she feels like she has some responsibility, that if only she had just come for her normal visit like usual.
He was wanting to do a plea deal, and I was in shock because I just thought he would take this to his grave.
With Andrew pleading guilty to all charges, there would be no trial. He received a sentence of 43 years.
43 years. I'll be dead.
Everybody tries to tell me he'll never walk out of there, but he might. I mean, I won't be here, but Willow will be. I don't want her to have to worry about that.
But it's not case closed. Andrew then reveals to investigators that there's a whole lot more to this story.
Oh crap, he flipped.
And so I guess he's gonna flip the script and spill all the tea.
This call is from a federal prison. This call is from
Andrew Beard.
Hello, Andrew.
Yes, sir.
It's John Quinones from 2020.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm in prison, so I'm doing as good as you can for that, I guess.
You have a specific reason to talk to us, and thank you for doing that. But what is that reason?
For me, it was really just for obvious reasons. I've never spoken to the media or the news. And so the story just kind of went completely one direction. I've taken full responsibility and just wanted to basically say, hey, look, this has started from custody issues.
Andrew, this was quite the leap from I want custody of my daughter to I'm going to kill her mother.
John, it's because I feel you need to know the whole story. I'm not trying to attempt to disparage Alyssa's memory, but yeah, I had growing concerns from my daughter's well-being and whereabouts.
Did you initially have concerns about committing this crime, killing her?
Oh, absolutely. It goes against the laws of God, nature, and man.
Tell me about that morning. What happened?
For a while, that morning was very hazy. Basically just going to complete this final thing that needed to get done, and everything would be better. That was the thought in my mind.
In my conversation with Andrew, he was vague about what drove him to kill Alyssa. But as part of his plea deal, he detailed to prosecutors what he says led up to Alyssa's death.
So you say you didn't plan on shooting, but I mean...
No, again, I know what you're saying, man, but don't get me wrong. Every plan was eventually, you're going to then commit this crime.
And he gave a full accounting of everything from the beginning until the very end.
Holly was the driver in my mind. We talked about the joking sprinkled in of it would be so much easier if you just offer kind of situation. And then it was, well, we're going to plant these drugs. And then now, this thing happened. It's a lot of shoplifting.
What was Holly's role in all of this?
She was basically the mastermind behind it all. She clearly was leading me down the path. Anytime I would try to pull back from that path, she would make sure I stayed on it. The end goal was custody and to just be a family.
You tried to conceal your identity by using dark makeup. You think that was a good plan?
No, I thought the whole plan was ridiculous.
But you did it.
Yeah, I do. I know I did it. So the plan that was made was to dark makeup and make me look not white, and essentially commit the crime, and that way, quote unquote, in her words, even if they see you, it would be somebody else.
He explained how he and Holly got involved, He walked us through the details about how they devised this plan to smear Alyssa, and when that didn't work, the plan was hatched to actually murder her.
I saw a growing need from Holly that she wanted Willow to, basically be her child. And that's all well and good, except there's a loving mother involved.
One text I found that I forgot to tell you guys about was she had specifically told me on the 25th, I hope you handled it. I'm not coming home to BS right now. And she said, this will be a whole different conversation if you're ride or die, if you prove that you're ride or die situation.
And your interpretation of ride or die was what?
Of ride or die 100% meant that I'd be willing to commit a crime for her.
Andrew points the finger at Holly, but the FBI needs to corroborate that what he's saying is true. So they need to look at the digital footprint of the communications between Holly and Andrew. They need to look at emails, text messages, and where their phones were pinging.
There was a ton of digital evidence. Not only did we have computers from Andrew and Holly, we also had their cell phones. That's where the majority of the digital evidence came from that was used in the investigation.
Investigators say they later uncovered archived search histories on Holly's computer, including queries for spy store and GPS tracker. 3 years after Alyssa's death, authorities finally charged Holly Elkins. They arrested her at the Miami airport while she was returning home from vacation.
The arrest of Holly Elkins came as a shock.
It's bittersweet. It brings up all the hurt of the loss, but we're glad that she's being held accountable for it.
Count 1, she was charged with stalking. Count 2, conspiracy to stalk.
Holly Elkins pled not guilty to all charges.
We always knew that Holly had something to do with it. It was awesome that they finally got her and that they had, gotten all the evidence that they did have against her.
She was not hiding. She was carrying on her life by traveling and doing everything that she wanted to do. I think she thought that, that this had passed and that she wasn't real concerned about it. I like to think that there was that little part in the back of her mind that kept bugging her about, man, I wonder if they're going to come after me. I wonder if they're going to find me.
While in prison, you come forward to police about Holly.
Yes, sir.
Why did you do that?
It was the right thing to do. I actually had a conversation with my attorney, and he had told me something that hit home pretty hard. What about the next guy, Andrew? He said, you take this fall, but the next one would be on you.
And now, Holly Elkins heads to trial.
Elkins says she was aware that Beard and Burkett were in a bitter custody battle over their child, but denies helping him.
I just couldn't believe some of the things that I had heard,
Prosecutors used phone records and online purchase history to link Holly Elkins to the 2020 shooting and stabbing death of Alyssa Burkett.
The prosecution in this case had everything at their disposal. They had every tool in the shed, and they used them all.
Elkins says she was aware that Beard and Burkett were in a bitter custody battle over their child, but denies helping him.
Holly Elkins' defense was this was a custody fight, and it wasn't her that did this. It wasn't her who pushed him and prodded him.
Elkins' attorneys disputed that she was part of the drug planting on Alyssa's vehicle or that she had anything to do with the GPS tracking devices found on the car. They rejected the argument that Holly was the mastermind in Alyssa's killing.
The woman who plotted the attack was convicted after brief jury deliberations.
I was so relieved, even though I felt like we were going to get the guilty verdict. I just was worried about the jury putting it all together because it's so much.
I do feel like in a way justice was served. I mean, he got 43 years and, Holly got life.
I'm happy with it.
You have a message for Alyssa's family?
I do. I'm so sorry for my despicable and downright evil actions. Alyssa was an inspiring young woman. She deserves so much more from life. I forgive myself for taking that away from you, and I know there's nothing I can say or do that will fix what I broke.
I don't think it was genuine. I think if you're gonna take someone's life, you'll never truly be sorry for anything. You can say, to me, as many sorries as you want, it's never gonna be enough or remorseful to me.
There's been times where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll forgive him one day, but then in my heart, do I really? And you have to, I guess, just to be able to move forward. It will never be okay what they did, but just for my own self and soul, I have to forgive that and let that go.
Your message to your daughter?
Willow, my sweet baby girl, you instantly became our world. Sorry for letting you down the way I did. Maybe one day you can forgive me for that. But I love you with every inch of my heart. I truly do.
Andrew has not had any contact with his daughter, Willow. However, when she turns 18, she will be given the choice, the opportunity to reach out to him if she wants to.
So Willow is now my daughter. The adoption is finalized. They are a spitting image of each other. Even the way Willow walks, when she turns around and walks off, I see Alyssa walking off. Like, it is just, they're that identical.
We're gonna become best friends and we're gonna make lots of new memories. And I love you.
Now that I'm a mother myself, I look at myself all the time and think, what would Alyssa tell me to do about this situation? Alyssa's watching us. Alyssa gave me this baby. She told me I'm ready to be a mom just like she was.
That's our program for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Deborah Roberts.
And I'm David Muir from all of us at 2020 and ABC News. Good night.
What a beautiful picture. Now, the Dolly Parton song comes to mind when I hear Jolene.
Jolene, Jolene.
Did that have any impact on your naming her?
It was because of that song. Something's not right. Jolene's not answering. Not hearing from Jolene on Mother's Day? On her birthday?
She started doing her little Houdini acts. And I thought she was just seeing somebody else.
Urgent search for a missing mother in Nassau County.
What do you think happened to Joey? Like she's hanging out with these bad dudes, bad crowd.
Sounds like she had trouble with figuring out men.
She did. First thought was the boyfriend, had done something.
And this is your opportunity here to clear your name, and you're acting like a jackass.
Said I had nothing to do with Jolene being missing. I love her. I miss her.
At some point, Jolene confides in you some thoughts, some suspicions.
It is the actual moment where we perceived we are looking at something more sinister. Who is that figure that walks across in the darkness?
You could see them walk around the building just as I did, and then they go ahead and enter the building.
No one had any idea how truly unhinged that she was.
When I saw the video, hair on the back of my neck stand up moment.
Nestled on the tip of Amelia Island sits North Florida's Fernandina Beach. With its shrimp boats bobbing in the harbor next to oak-shaded streets, both tourists and locals come to savor the island life.
I would describe Fernandina Beach as a small area that a lot of people come to visit. It's very welcoming.
It's kind of like a hippie beach town. We have a shrimp drop where we have a big lit up shrimp, and they drop it just like they do New Year's at the ball with the ball. You have all the pirate ships. There's even Pippi Longstocking's houses down in Old Town.
That house was made famous in the 1988 film The New Adventures of Pippi Longstocking, based on the children's book.
Hello. Come on, Pippi.
Our crime rate in Nassau County is very low when you compare to our surrounding areas.
But on Mother's Day in May of 2018, Jolene Cummings, a single mom of 3, never arrives to pick up her children from her ex-husband, Jason Cummings. Evening is now falling over northern Florida, and Jolene's 2 young sons are waiting in a grocery store parking lot with their dad. The minutes tick by, but their mom never arrives to pick them up.
And it was her birthday, and it was Mother's Day weekend. She always wanted to spend that time with her kids.
What were her plans as far as you knew?
It would have been the first time that she would have been able to celebrate Mother's Day and her birthday with the boys, and she would be at my house.
Why in the world would this mom suddenly disappear on such a big day? Those close to her say that as a young, working, single mother, Jolene would often feel overwhelmed and take off, making time for herself. Might she have just gone off and done something without telling you?
Has Jolene gone off in the past? Oh, yes. Have I been able to contact her? Yes.
Did you have a feeling?
Yeah, not hearing from Jolene on Mother's Day, on her birthday. Yes, I had this gut-wrenching feeling all day. And I told my husband, I need to call this in. He said, no, Ann, wait till tomorrow. So at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, I called.
8:08 a.m., Ann Johnson contacted the sheriff's office and reported that her adult daughter, Jolene Cummings, was missing. She stated that no one had heard from Jolene for at least 2 days. I was named the lead investigator on this case. It was urgent to me from the start. While it's certainly not uncommon for an adult to, go missing or take off for a couple of days, there were some things that really concerned Miss Johnson about it.
Her daughter would have spent Saturday at the Tangles hair salon where she had worked for 6 years.
So Tangles is a salon that's right on the edge of Yulee and Fernandina Beach. It's in a shopping center. There are multiple chairs, multiple stylists working there, day in and day out.
Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, I'm Deborah.
I'm Brittany.
Brittany, nice to meet you.
I'm Jill.
Hey, Jill. Nice to meet you.
She was my hairdresser. That's how we met.
Somebody said that she was kind of a hairapist.
Yeah.
Like a therapist, but doing hair.
Yeah, absolutely, because she would always give you the best advice.
Now, what was she like as a mom? Because on the one hand, she had this creative career, but then she was also a pretty young mom.
She was there to support them. I think she grew up and she didn't get to do the things that other kids got to do sometimes. So she really wanted to make sure her daughter did everything that she didn't get to do.
Those boys and her daughter were just the love of her life. The place that she was living in was my brother-in-law's. It wasn't the best, but she was saving to move.
I wanted to go to Jolene's home to find out where she lived and to see if there were any clues there, anything there that might give me an idea where she might be. Jolene's stepfather gave me access to the home. When I went inside, there were cabinets that were hanging by one hinge. It appeared as if somebody had actually punched and kicked holes in the wall. This evidence was very worrisome for a person who's gone missing.
It's clearly a disturbing and suspicious scene, and there's one person investigators want to talk to, Jolene's ex-husband, Jason Cummings.
Anytime someone goes missing, you have a list of people that you probably want to talk to. Exes are always at the top of that list.
Jason and Jolene had somewhat of a rocky relationship.
There was an injunction in place between Jolene and her ex-husband, a no violence injunction that said there'd be no violence between the two individuals. Jason he made it obvious that it was contentious about custody of the kids, that the court had not decided yet.
Texts between the former couple reveal a volatile relationship, with Jolene once writing, "These kids have seen and heard enough," and Jason responding, "See you in court, Jolene." And in another text, Jason writes, "I hate you, and tomorrow you will hate me. I promise that."
They still had an amicable relationship. They worked together for the love of the children.
We wanted to talk to him, see if he knows anything, knows about where she may be or has seen her.
I made contact with Jason Cummings via phone. I scheduled him to come in the next morning to do an interview at the sheriff's office.
It's now Tuesday, 2 days since Jolene was last seen, and her ex-husband, Jason Cummings, is sitting in the Nassau County Sheriff's Office with Detective Harrington.
She is my ex-wife. I love her. I mean, she's my kid's mom.
Telling him how Jolene's happy exterior hid a darker side of her personality.
She's angry most of the time, but she's also happy at us. She's the type of woman that wouldn't let you know. You could see it on her face, but she wouldn't tell you what was bothering.
When Jason Cummings is answering these questions, he did let police know that it wasn't uncommon for Jolene to sometimes disappear without explanation.
But I was like, look, you need to get it together. You know, this right here is the reason why I left her, because she would disappear for a few days. She started doing her little Houdini acts, and I thought she was just seeing somebody else.
Jason Cummings let police know that he had an alibi for the day that Jolene went missing. He was with the kids, and he had his parents that he was around who could verify that.
And where did you go with that when you left there? Kids ate, we all ate. Granny and Papa, while they were getting ready for church, me and the kids went out there and they were in the floors, you know.
The dad of Jolene's 2 youngest kids then steers investigators in a completely different direction, mentioning somebody else close to his ex-wife.
He said, if you're gonna look at anybody, you need to look at this new guy she's dating. He's not a good guy.
She's hanging out with these bad dudes, bad crowd.
Now, the Dolly Parton song comes to mind when I hear Jolene. Did that have any impact on your naming her?
Yeah, it was because of that song.
Jolene, Jolene, Jolene.
Dolly Parton's song is J-O-L-E-N-E. And I found the J-O-L-E-E-N, which meant pretty. That fit her because when she was born, she had the eyes of green and her hair was auburn.
Every skin and eyes of emerald green.
Urgent search for a missing mother in Nassau County.
Our Julia Janae is live at the state attorney's office.
At the time of Jolene Cummings' disappearance, I was an investigative reporter for First Coast News, the ABC affiliate there in Jacksonville.
The mother of Jolene Cummings, who said she's heartbroken.
We will continue to search for Jolene. We have searched for her utilizing all of our resources, including canines, horses, and boats.
People are talking about it like crazy. They're asking questions. They're wanting answers.
So days go by, nothing. What are you thinking?
It was the most horrible time of my life. I was searching, friends were searching, my husband was searching with me.
Constant alerts on the news and that she was being searched for. People were asked to keep an eye out for Jolene's vehicle.
Those with any information about where Cummings is urged to call the Nassau County Sheriff's Office.
What did you think?
I just stopped. I was frozen. I didn't know what to think.
And I thought that this is not my Jolene. This has to be somebody else. And then I went online to look it up, and sure enough, it was her picture, and I just had a sinking feeling.
Now, detectives are ready to interview their very first person of interest, and that would be Jolene's ex-husband, Jason Cummings. These two had a volatile relationship.
What do you think happened to Jolene? Me personally, I hope that she's not going to be found, and now she's got all this attention on her, she's probably scared. Is that your hope, or is that your thought? That's what is my hope.
But while he's in the hot seat, Cummings tells Detective Harrington that he should be looking at another Jason in Jolene's life.
I just know his first name's Jason. I've never met him. I got text messages from other people saying he's bad news.
When I asked him about, why he was so concerned about this person, he just said that he had a criminal history. He was very concerned about Jolene, and more specifically, being around a type of person like that.
And I'm hoping she'll pop up any minute and say, hey, I'm here. I hope we're spending a lot of time for, no reason. She's hanging out with these bad dudes, bad crowd. She shouldn't be doing this crap.
After police completed their questioning,
I appreciate it.
Jason Cummings was able to leave the Nassau County Sheriff's Office.
After checking out Jason Cummings' alibis, he was cleared of any wrongdoing. The next person of interest that we wanted to look at is her current boyfriend, who she had broken up with, Jason G.
When Jolene had gone missing, I had heard that she had had a boyfriend who was not the best of news.
It sounds like while she might have been bright and airy, she had trouble with figuring out men.
She did. She had been married and divorced. A boyfriend, I believe he's had kind of some trouble with the law.
A record.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Jolene also liked the underdog. Irrelevant what their past was.
Jolene wanted to fix people, and I think that's really why she dated him.
Jason G had a outstanding warrant from Nassau County. As a matter of fact, it was a felony warrant for a violation of probation, and he was wanted by the Nassau County Sheriff's Office.
But he wasn't a stranger to law enforcement.
He had previously had arrests for drug offenses, for domestic.
Jason G was in fact convicted of several drug offenses, but not that alleged domestic violence charge. That was dropped.
There was a report also with Jolene and Jason G getting into an altercation, a domestic violence situation at their home a couple days prior to this.
Jason G had come over to the house and had wanted to spend the night with Jolene. Jolene was concerned it would cause problems with her divorce. Jason G got very angry to the point that he started destroying items in the house.
For investigators, Jolene's allegations explain all that physical damage they saw inside her home.
Next on their list, police are really eager to talk to Jason G, but he is nowhere to be found.
We had a difficult time. We looked, it took a little while to track Jason G down. It appeared from, trying to check his cell phone that he was only turning it on occasionally when he needed to, and that he was turning it off so that he couldn't be tracked. I don't think he was staying in one location very long.
He didn't have a means of transportation, so we knew he was probably in the Hilliard area. However, his parents lived in Jacksonville on the north side.
With all that, we did get a warrant to try to locate him by pinging his phone. He was found hiding under a bunch of cardboard boxes in a bedroom. So it was very, very suspicious to us. He was a prime suspect when we did the interview.
When the interrogation of Jason G starts, it begins with the detective keeping his tone pretty calm, his demeanor pretty calm.
Can we go just kind of back to the beginning and tell me, how you guys got together, where you met?
That's a little over a year ago. We went to school together and didn't ever know each other, but I went over to party and we just got together and just clicked.
But now cops are ready to take off the kid gloves. The temperature inside of that interrogation room heats up.
You're hiding out.
I just found out about Jolene being missing yesterday. Honestly, I would never hurt her.
But it's time up for Jason G. Detectives see something that makes them wonder whether he had gone one step too far.
You got some scratches on your wrist and everything. To me, they looked a lot like fingernail scratches, which really, really concerned me.
This is your opportunity here to clear your name, and you're acting like a jackass.
So things aren't looking so good for Jason G. But then, a new piece of evidence emerges that just deepens this mystery.
We want to know, who is that figure that walks across in the darkness?
Mother of three, Jolene Cummings, has seemingly vanished from her North Florida town, setting off alarm bells within the small community.
The hairdresser community was really just completely in shock. Watching Jolene's disappearance play out on TV, it was stressful.
She never showed up to pick up her kids yesterday on Mother's Day.
Cummings was last seen leaving work at the Tangles Hair Salon on Saturday around 5 p.m.
Florida's Nassau County Sheriff's investigators are racing against the clock to figure out what happened to the hairdresser. Remember, they've got her ex-boyfriend, Jason G., under arrest in an unrelated case, and he's being interrogated.
When we find Jason G. and he's brought in for the interview, I mean, we're really looking at him as, you know, this is probably our suspect.
You know, you always want to give someone the benefit of a doubt just because of their history, but with everything involved, it just seemed like a pretty good suspect to look at the time.
Do me a favor, let me hold your hands up like this.
He had marks on his hands and his arms. To me, they looked a lot like fingernail scratches, which really concerned me.
You got some scratches on your wrists and everything. Tell me about those.
Dog play with at the house.
They are really looking closely to see, could this have been a struggle with a person?
I got one there from the damn branches at my dad's that happened like a week ago.
Detective Harrington asks about that alleged domestic violence incident and the disturbing scene at Jolene's home.
He stated that the last time he saw Jolene was when he was at the house and the altercation occurred.
And I went over there to see what was in the house. There was some cabinets broken, there was some holes and stuff. Did that happen that night?
I had slammed the cabinet shut when we was arguing.
And what about there was some holes in the door?
She actually took a hammer to the door. And we were arguing. That was 4 or 5 months ago.
During the interrogation, Jason G. tells the detectives that he lost his phone. Now that's a red flag for detectives. They're thinking, oh, come on, who doesn't have their phone with them all the time these days?
It's time for you to come clean and tell us what you did with it.
I didn't do nothing with it.
Then where's your phone?
It's at my cousin's or my dad's. Where I've been at.
Which one is it?
Jason G has an answer for why he doesn't have his cell phone, because he's actually been trying to run from police and doesn't want them to ping his phone because of that outstanding parole violation warrant.
I told you, the reason I was I didn't want to come to jail. Ever since I've had this warrant, I've had my battery taken out of my phone. I've had nothing to do with this. I've been fucking on with y'all. I told y'all can call my cousin and my dad, they will tell you where I've been at the past 3 days.
Jason G says that he has an alibi for where he was, and not just for the day that Jolene went missing, but the entire weekend.
He had stated he was having a barbecue down in North Jacksonville.
I went to sleep, I slept till about 10 or 11. We went back over there and hung out the rest of the day. We stayed there till Sunday. Sunday, I went home Sunday night.
Maybe Jason G. does come across as volatile, a little rough around the edges. But Detective Harrington notices that when G talks about Jolene, he's calmer. His voice softens.
I wouldn't hurt her. I wouldn't cause any harm or any discomfort to her. Well, I texted her later that night and tried to get hold of her. Then I texted her Sunday morning and told her Happy Mother's Day and Happy Birthday.
I gotta tell you, I'm not buying what you tell me.
I know you ain't believing that. I said, but I'm telling you the truth, man. I had nothing to do with Jolene being missing. I love her. I miss her. I want her to be okay.
He no way convinced me after the interview that he was innocent, but in the back of my mind, I did think he seemed like he really was concerned about Jolene's well-being and whereabouts.
Police take more pictures and then book G on the probation violation charge, but he's still only a suspect in Jolene's disappearance.
In the Nassau County Sheriff's Office, they take the approach of getting the public involved. They start putting out the flyers with her picture on it.
Press release was stating that Jolene Cummings was missing. It also described her vehicle, a gold tan in color Ford Expedition with a tag number.
It was sent out to local news media. We just want to saturate the area.
Now at 11, a renewed push in the search for a missing local mother.
The Nassau County Sheriff's Department put out a Facebook post asking anyone with information about her whereabouts.
Investigators have put out a BOLO. Now that's cop speak for be on the lookout for. And guess what? One observant tipster calls in to say he thinks that he's seen an SUV just like Jolene's sitting in a local Home Depot parking lot.
The day after we put the BOLO out, I got a call from a citizen that thought he had seen it here in the parking lot. We responded here immediately and did determine by both tag and VIN that it was indeed Jolene's vehicle. One of the first things I noticed was that the driver's door was unlocked. All the other doors were locked. Just looking at it from outside, I didn't notice anything obvious. I didn't notice any blood, any damage. Once we located the vehicle outside the Home Depot, I instructed several detectives to start canvassing the area to see if there was any video surveillance.
There is a ViStar credit union that I had worked off duty at. I knew that their cameras faced in that direction.
That credit union surveillance camera captures investigative gold and leads to the second big break in the case.
When we looked at the camera angles, we determined that shortly after 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, the vehicle comes up the approach road off of State Road 200 from the direction of the salon and is immediately pulled into the parking area. You cannot see who's driving it at that point in time. And then you can see a figure emerge and walk across the screen towards the right.
Everyone is hoping that it's Jolene getting out of that car. Then, a minute later, a figure is visible in the doorway of a nearby convenience store.
It was kind of like that hair on the back of my neck stand-up moment, because I was like, this is who I'm looking for.
Hairdresser and mom Jolene Cummings has been missing for 3 days now, and Florida's Nassau County Sheriff's detectives are working several leads. One of them is Jolene's ex-boyfriend, Jason G., who tells police he's got an alibi. He says he was at a barbecue all weekend.
Jason told us where he had been and who he had been with, but his story checked out. He ultimately was cleared.
Now that Jolene's former boyfriend and her ex-husband are cleared, they're out of the picture, police are laser focused on that Home Depot parking lot footage. It's the shadowy image, a person emerging from the area near Jolene's SUV.
We want to know, who is that figure that walks across in the darkness?
Once Jolene's vehicle is discovered, police look through it to see if there are any clues as to her whereabouts.
Breaking developments in the case of a missing Nassau County mother last seen on Saturday when she left her job at a hair salon. Today, her vehicle found in the parking lot of a Home Depot.
Earlier that day, investigators visited Jolene's workplace, Tangle Salon, where one of her co-workers, they've been told, was the last person to see Jolene the night before Mother's Day.
You always want to know, in a missing persons case, the last person to see the victim, and that was an individual, a co-worker by the name of Jennifer Seibert.
Jennifer Seibert had been working at the Tangle's hair salon for a couple of months. Jennifer Seibert did come with this air of mystery.
And they didn't have a whole lot of background information on her, other than what was on her application.
What did you know of her? I didn't know anything of her. She was just a newcomer.
Now, the very moment that investigators arrive at the salon to ask questions, Jennifer Seibert pulls up into the parking lot for her shift. But then, she does something rather suspicious.
When Miss Seibert learned that there was a detective there at the business, she immediately leaves the parking lot and does not come back and go to work.
At that moment, we're thinking, why would she not want to tell us anything about her coworker?
Yeah.
Why would she
Honestly,
leave?
at the time, I think it was more of a red flag to you than me. It was kind of a red flag, but she kind of was like, that's really, really strange.
Jennifer Seibert even tells her boss to not bother to keep her check there, that she should just mail it to a forwarding address.
Seibert also sends a text with an explanation for why she bolted. She claims she was fearful of an ex-partner. She even writes, "My ex is terrible. When it comes to him, I fear for my life."
Jennifer Seibert was not eager to speak to us and left a long, rambling telephone message telling us why she wanted to help, but she couldn't be a part of this investigation, basically because her life was in danger.
From the moment that police see the vehicle of Jolene Cummings parked in that parking lot, they are canvassing the area. They really want to know who got out of that car when it was parked.
Once we observed the surveillance video of the person exiting, we could tell which direction they walked in. The only place that would have probably been open at that time would have been this convenience store. The first camera that I picked the person up on would have been here, and you could see them walk around the building just as I did. Then they walked down and they actually stop here for a minute and address the clerk that's standing outside on a break, and then they go ahead and enter the building.
The video from inside the convenience store is a big break. Who is it that walks in?
When I saw that, it was kind of like that hair on the back of my neck stand-up moment, because I was like, this is who I'm looking for.
The person who walks through the front door is Jennifer Seibert.
And she's dressed in all black, she's got on combat boots, and she seems really chatty with the attendant while she's there.
I conducted an interview with a store employee who was working there as well. There was a female that came into the store the other night, right here.
Yes, she said something about how she was out with a couple of friends drinking. When I tried to go back inside to go back to working, she wanted me to stay around.
He said that she was acting as if she was nervous or scared about something. She asked him to call a taxi cab for her.
We were able to capture video surveillance that actually shows the taxi cab pull up. It pulls into a spot just over here in front of the store. You could see her enter the vehicle in the front passenger seat, and you could see the cab pull away.
We were able to not only determine who the cab driver was, but interview him. What do you recall about that person?
She was dressed in like a black workout outfit. She had black hair, had it up in a bun on her head. She didn't appear to have a purse or anything like that.
What stood out to me and the cab driver was that Jennifer Seibert had stated that she had been out with friends that didn't have enough money for gas, but yet she had prepaid for the cab ride on a credit card.
I found that kind of odd, because if a person's prepaying $20 on a credit card, they should be able to give somebody $5 worth of gas and get a ride.
The location that the cab driver was asked to take Jennifer Seibert was of interest to detectives because it wasn't exactly where she worked, the Tangle Salon, but it was in the same shopping center.
He dropped her off by a small black vehicle, which we knew that was what Jennifer Seibert owned and drove every day to work.
At that point in time, our #1 priority is to find Jennifer Seibert, who is now purposely evading us.
But there's just one major problem. Police can't find Seibert. The address on her Tangle's job application isn't even real.
I went to that location, and what I discovered is that it is a non-existent address. It's a fake address. This is the fake address that Jennifer Seibert has given in her application for employment. Just nothing here. There's no residences, nothing. And it became apparent to me that this was something amiss.
Where is Jennifer Seibert? Investigators race to find her. Will they also find Jolene?
Cummings has not been seen since Mother's Day weekend, and investigative reporter Julia Janae joins us now with more. Julia?
Heather, that video that was released shows the missing SUV of Cummings being driven what appears to be Jennifer Seibert.
So once they look at that video, who walks through the doors of Gate gas station but Jennifer Seibert? And she's dressed in all black.
But so far, police have had no luck tracking down the mysterious woman. Small hair salons are known to be warm, friendly places. But at Tangle's in northern Florida, the newest employee, Jennifer Seibert, didn't exactly fit in.
Everyone would talk with each other. It was just a very cozy, friendly environment to be in.
So all the hairdressers seemed to get along.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, there was a new woman.
So I never really got to know her well. She was kind of standoffish.
Within a few weeks of Jennifer being there, they started to notice things that they thought were off about Jennifer, just the way she acted. She could never really give an address of where she lived.
Jolene had a lot of concern about Jennifer Seibert's background. I did an interview with Ashley Nunley, who Jolene had styled her hair the day before she went missing.
She goes, because there's something just weird. Jolene says she started wearing wigs when she first started. Jolene says she was going to look up her name and figure out what the heck was going on with her.
Knowing Jolene, she's not going to leave something alone until she gets an answer that she can believe.
It turns out the questions about Jennifer Seibert's background, her behavior, also dogged her at a previous beauty salon where she worked in nearby Yulee.
She definitely had extremes in behavior. She would be so upbeat, or if she was mad, it was almost like seething mad. If she would get mad at a client, I would see her sit there and grip the back of the chair and like white knuckle it.
My stylists were complaining that they did not want to work with her. I did find a reason to fire her. She had all her stuff packed, leaving. So I followed her out the front door and asked her for the keys back. And she took them off her key ring and she threw them at me. That was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 9 o'clock at night, she was still sitting in her car in the parking lot. That was a little bit creepy. And I actually did make sure that no one was following me home. She didn't follow me home.
The last known place that Jolene Cummings had been seen was Tangle's hair salon. We made a determination, we need to go back to the salon.
To the naked eye, there wasn't a whole lot out of place.
Traditionally, Jolene Cummings sat in the break room at the very back by the bathroom. I was looking with my flashlight at the edge of the sink, which was perfectly clean, and as I looked down, I saw what looked to me to be a dilute blood ring.
So we had our crime scene unit go back and do a forensic examination of the entire salon with what's called either blue star or luminol, which creates a chemical reaction with blood, and it will fluoresce or glow. Basically, the whole salon lit up. There was blood everywhere that was obviously had been cleaned up. You could see mop marks on the floor in blood.
Now the police have this disturbing discovery of the blood spatter inside of the salon. The search for Jennifer Seibert, it becomes much more urgent.
She basically went to number one on the radar. That we got to find out where she is. We did have a phone number for her that was provided on her application, so we started pinging that phone. Started looking at like beach areas where they had the showers, rest stops, different places where somebody who might not have a permanent place to live might be.
On Wednesday, we got an updated ping that said that she was in a rest area in St. Johns County, roughly 35 miles south, closer to St. Augustine.
6 detectives and myself and the 2 FBI agents went to the northbound rest stop in St. Johns County.
The rest area was under construction, and it was just confusion. Dark, semis roaring around.
When I came to the rest area on the northbound side, I saw a black Kia Soul sitting between 2 semi-trucks. I called another detective and told him, hey, I believe this is Jennifer Seibert's car.
There was exhaust vapor coming out of the tailpipe of the vehicle, so I knew it was running.
I was a little worried about approaching the vehicle because I didn't know who was in the vehicle, if they had a weapon.
I had my flashlight. I then observed an individual who was laying down in the back of the vehicle get up and slither through the 2 front seats and drop into the driver's seat. I remember repeatedly stating, do not put the vehicle in drive. She had her driver's license ready. It was Jennifer Seibert.
Once Jennifer got out of the vehicle, I identified myself to her and told her that I was investigating Jolene's disappearance. She reiterated to me that she had no idea where Jolene was at. At that point in time, I asked her, I said, you've never been in her vehicle, you have no reason to drive her vehicle? And she answered no. I knew that she was lying to me because I had her on surveillance video parking Jolene's vehicle near the Home Depot in Yulee.
Detective Harrington is heading out to a local judge's home. He's got to get an arrest warrant for grand theft auto for Jolene's SUV. But somebody has to keep an eye on Jennifer Seibert to make sure she does not bolt.
My captain informed me, he says, I want you to keep her occupied. You are not to interrogate her, just talk to her. Well, where would you shower?
At the gym. I'm going to take a break from body pump and just stick with the cycle classes for a while.
And the curious thing to me was she never once asked, what is this about? She never once asked, am I free to leave? Mosquitoes a problem at rest areas?
Oh my goodness. When a mosquito bites me, it just takes probably almost an entire month for that one mosquito bite to heal.
But it's not mosquito bites on Seibert's face that are getting the attention of detectives.
She had claw marks on her face. She had Band-Aids on her face. It looked like to me that she had been in one hell of a fight.
Back at the station, she appears oddly relaxed and in a good mood when she's talking to officers, not the suspect of this intense missing person search.
She was very open, communicative, actually laughing, joking.
Those hurting you?
No, they feel great. You can put them on cider if you want. Whatever you want to do.
But nobody could have guessed what would turn up in Seibert's background and just how entangled her past was.
It was bigger than I imagined.
It was like flipping a switch.
This is a woman who was reported missing by her own mother decades before this happened in 2004.
I had 2 IDs at the time. I had myself and then my other ID.
And once detectives start digging into the background of this woman, they discover she's not at all who she claims to be on a number of levels. In fact, she had been using up to 18 different aliases and had lived in over 30 cities.
No one had any idea how truly just unhinged that she was.
And there's more surveillance video of Jennifer Seibert, but will it reveal the fate of missing hairstylist Jolene Cummings?
Do you think it was a conspiracy or a lone gunman?
To me, it's a much bigger story than the Kennedy murder.
Is this mystery ever going to get solved?
Who killed JFK? Monday night on ABC.
This was the most bizarre.
Very diabolic. Truly unhinged.
Watching Jolene's disappearance play out on TV was stressful.
Missing mother in Nassau County.
Jolene Cummings was dangerously close to discovering that Jennifer Seibert was not Jennifer Seibert.
Jolene said there's something going on with her. I'm gonna find out.
She had stolen the dead child's information and created a false identity.
She took that name out of the cemetery.
She had 17 different names. She lived in 14 states.
How do you even wrap your mind around that?
She was an angel one second and then getting in a fight with somebody the next.
Definitely not a normal thing for a person to go and buy a carving knife in the evening of a random Friday night.
My God, what is she up to?
You'd think she's done this before.
There is no doubt in my mind.
She's saying that she's Kimberly Kessler, but how do we know what the truth is?
Well, it was her birthday and it was Mother's Day. And I wanted her to be reminded that she was my special blessing on a Mother's Day, a gift that no other could compete. And then text her that Saturday and, hey, did you get the angel?
And that was the last text. Ann Johnson's daughter, 34-year-old Jolene Cummings, has been missing for 4 days now, and police have found no sign of the hairstylist. They've questioned and cleared both her ex-husband and former boyfriend in her disappearance.
Crime scene detectives went to Tango Salon to look a little closer.
You could see that there had been a struggle and smears of blood all over the salon.
Now we know there must have been a big fight in that salon.
You always want to know, in a missing persons case, the last person to see the victim, and that was a coworker by the name of Jennifer Seibert.
Jennifer Seibert became the focus of the investigation after she was spotted on surveillance footage, abandoning Jolene's vehicle in a parking lot and then walking into a convenience store to call for a taxi. Detectives managed to track her down and arrest her.
The charge you were arrested on
is a grand theft auto charge. You knew that, correct?
Yes.
You're not charged with anything else, okay? But something happened to Jolene.
Right out of the gate, Jennifer Seibert sits down in this interrogation room and she drops this mind twister on detectives. She tells them that her name isn't actually Jennifer Seibert.
Fingerprints, they come up as Kimberly Lee Kessler, so I would prefer to be called Kim. The last time I got picked up was back in 1999 and I bonded out.
So you've actually kind of got a, you've got a history under that name?
I'm ready to go back to being myself. Kimberly Lee Kessler. It's kind of a silly middle name, isn't it? It's like my mom stuttered.
So right now we were taking in who is Kimberly Kessler at this point.
I'm 50 years old. Looks are deceiving.
You have any children?
I do. I have a son. That's what got me running in 1999. Child Protective Services snatched him while I was at work from the babysitter, and that really sent me over the edge.
Then there's this next shocking moment where she tells detectives that she dated someone who was wanted by the FBI.
He robbed banks. I was working as a topless dancer, and he was with me whenever he called somebody and they said, the FBI is looking for you. And he's like, oh my God. And then he tells me everything. Oh, I robbed these banks. So I'm like, you what? And I hid him in my apartment, and that was like kind of almost the beginning.
She loved to brag about her past, and she was very proud of that.
She had been running for the past 20, 25 years and didn't want to be found.
It's a bombshell, but is it true? Are you okay if I ask my crime analyst to run the name?
Do it, please. You'll see my mug. I'll look a lot younger then. And thinner, too. I won't be 200 pounds.
Well, it's unusual when someone that is a person of interest is just joking around, acting like nothing's wrong, nothing's going on. And
during the interview, I kind of wanted to let her talk as much as she wanted to, but at some point in time, I knew I had to ask her about Jolene. Did you guys ever hang out after work? Did you ever go anywhere together? Okay. She ever allowed to use your car?
No.
Her demeanor changed. She became evasive.
You accused me the other night of, you're like, where's Jolene at? So, and I do not know where she is.
I think you know where Jolene is. We're going to find out what happened. You can help me do that.
No, I cannot. Whatever fury may come. So let me reply this way, and you may not like the answer. I would like legal counsel.
With Jennifer Seibert now refusing to talk, it's up to investigators to determine fact from fiction.
Who is she really? I mean, she's saying that she's Kimberly Kessler, but how do we know what the truth is? I mean, she's obviously very complex.
When they researched her background, they found out she was actually someone who had been reported as a missing person decades before, in 2004, by her own mother in Butler, Pennsylvania.
So detectives call Connie Kessler, who they believe to be Kimberly's mother, hoping to learn more.
We do have someone that is claiming to be Kimberly Kessler, and that is your daughter, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last time I heard from her was in 2004, and it was on an answering machine. She'd been having trouble with her boss, and then there was no way to get back in touch with her, so all I could do is wait.
Detectives are quickly discovering that the woman they have in custody, claiming to be Kimberly Kessler, has used a host of different aliases over the years, seemingly random names. But Connie Kessler adds yet another twist to this increasingly strange story, explaining how her daughter had allegedly picked one of those names.
She went to visit her dad at a cemetery. She picked a name off from a little girl that died near her father.
Do you know the name she picked?
Yeah, it was Pamela Jean Cleaver.
she could be anybody. So we conducted a DNA test.
The FBI actually took a DNA out of Kimberly Kessler's mother's home, and it came back that it was a match, that she was Kimberly Kessler.
Well, if that's the case, then who exactly is Jennifer Seibert? And once again, Detective Rose discovers there was an absolutely chilling answer to that question.
Found a little girl named Jennifer Seibert who was 13 years old, who had been killed in a car accident in Germany. However, she was buried in Butler, Pennsylvania. And then NCIS confirmed the social security number of Jennifer Seibert. And that's when we realized
she had stolen the dead child's information and created a false identity.
The night when I told her you're under arrest for grand theft auto, she almost smiled as if to say, is that all?
Police are just scratching the surface in their search for a missing mom, and now they're about to dig up a tangled tale of chaos beyond what they could have ever imagined.
I saw something about stabbing you in the leg. Can you tell me about that?
In hindsight, I should have ran.
With Jolene Cummings still missing, police are learning more about the woman they've got in custody. Turns out her name isn't Jennifer Seibert, it's actually Kimberly Kessler. And the more they unravel, the more complicated her past becomes.
Come to find out, she had 17 different names. She lived in 14 states. Very unusual for someone to have that track record and is not running from something.
During the next couple weeks, I conducted several audio interviews.
We had to try to figure out who we actually had in our jail. So we're just trying to get whatever information we can.
We discovered a husband. She had been married. When I spoke to him, he said, I met her in Arizona. She was stripping during that time.
Well, I can tell you she's a master of disguises. She wears a lot of wigs and changes her look a lot.
You know, she did wear a lot of wigs.
Did she?
She's very exotic.
He knew her as Melissa McKernan.
So I have Melissa tattooed across my chest.
So he was kind of shocked whenever we told him, hey, you know, this is not Melissa McKernan. Her true name is Kimberly Kessler.
Oh, no. I was like, he don't even have a real name on his chest.
But going back to the 1980s, Kimberly Kessler was just this small town girl living in Butler County, Pennsylvania.
Kimmy, you know, that's what they called her. Short-haired, tomboy, cute little young lady.
So you did know her?
I guess she knew me. She was good friends with a cousin of mine. The girls would all ride horses and that together. I met her a few times through the girls. I guess she had like a little schoolgirl crush on me or something.
She has a past with other people from high school.
Kim was a year behind me in high school. I was class of 85, she was class of 86. She was a cheerleader, you know.
Tom Sims hadn't seen her for years while he'd been in the Army. And then one day, their paths crossed again.
I stopped in the bar to have a beer and she was working. She was blonde and fit and beautiful. And we went out for drinks and, yeah.
They eventually end up dating and living together.
Can you tell me some more about her?
She's got a handful.
She wasn't a friendly person, always scheming. She was an angel one second and then getting in a fight with somebody the next.
Was that a normal thing for her, like acting out and being violent?
Yeah.
One of her moods got me with a steak knife.
I saw something about stabbing you in the leg.
No, she stabbed me in the chest. She bit my dad in the leg.
She bit your dad in the leg?
Yes.
She attacked him, bit him on the leg. Oh, you should have seen it. It was a huge bite mark.
It was the day after she hit me with the iron piece off a gas stove.
She grabbed off, you know, the burner and hit me upside the head with it. I think she already had her escape planned because she was gone after that. Gone.
Tom Sims says police came to the house for each violent incident. When Kessler stabbed him, when she bit his father, when she struck him with that iron grill. But he never pressed charges against her.
I probably should have. Young and naive.
But about a year later in 1990, Kessler was back, and she wants to catch up. Sims would later tell police about a troubling conversation that he says he had with her.
We had a cat. His name was Malcolm. That cat and I were very attached. She's the greatest cat in the world. I asked her, where's my cat? And she's like, well, I couldn't take him with me, so I had to kill him.
Did she say how she did that?
She shot him with a shotgun.
I saw no empathy. I was absolutely sick to my stomach. And then she disappeared again.
Kessler has never responded to those allegations, but while Sims only knew her as Kimberly Kessler, there are plenty of others who knew her by entirely different names, including Sergeant Jim Walters back in Virginia Beach in 1999.
I knew it wasn't Christina Brooks that I was talking to, but that was the name she gave me.
It was a very bizarre situation in Virginia Beach. She lived with the father of her child, and a neighbor saw her digging in the yard with the kid in the hole, and she said it was a grave that she was digging, and she was acting very bizarrely. So the neighbor called the Child Welfare Services, and they came and took the child.
On August the 3rd, 1999, I received a call that there was a disorderly, suspicious person at social services, and we spoke real quickly, and I asked her to leave.
That's when we followed Christina Brooks out and stopped her on the other side of the bus stop.
Sergeant Walters says he's never forgotten what he says he discovered in her purse.
A Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum, a taser, and a roll of duct tape. We call it a kidnap kit.
Sergeant Walters arrests Christina Brooks for carrying a concealed weapon without a permit.
Found out later that she was released on her recognizance, and of course, gone. It gave me chills. My God, what is she up to?
Turns out she was up to a lot. Remember that childhood friend, David Trempis? By 2018, he was living in San Antonio when he says he got a message on Facebook from a woman in Florida.
I got a friend request from Mia Stone, you know, and I accepted it.
She told David Trempis that she wanted to help him out. He was kind of going through a custody battle with his child.
She's just real persistent. I told her, well, if I ever come down to Florida, I'd meet you. And the very next day, bam, she was here. She just got there overnight. That was kind of freaky in itself. I said, I'll meet you at the Whataburger in town. She come walking up, and she had that big black curly wig on, and it was, down over her eyes, and, it was just out of place. And she had a scar on her face.
David Trempis told police that Mia Stone claims she got the scar when her ex-husband tried to run her over. And now she wanted to move to Texas and marry Trempis.
But she wanted to move in with me. That's why she was up here. And I just kind of played it cool and said, it was great to meet you. And then, well, I got the hell out of there. It's time to go.
About a week later, Jolene Cummings goes missing. Not long after, Trempis says he got a call from the sheriff's office in Florida asking if he knew a woman named Mia Stone.
She also goes by the name, there's like 18 names, Mia Stone, Jennifer Seibert. Her true name is Kimberly Kessler.
That girl's name is really Kim Kessler?
Yes, sir.
She never let on to that. Her real name was Kim Kessler.
So investigators are left to wonder, had Jolene figured out Kessler's grand deception?
No one had any idea how truly evil she was.
And had Kessler retaliated by doing the unthinkable? When Jennifer Seibert first arrived in Fernandina Beach in 2018, no one had a clue about her trail of chaos and red flags over the years.
Let me tell you what, Jolene was very inquisitive, very intuitive, and when she said someone's fake, it's like, you're putting on an act, or you're not who you say you are.
So was Jolene on the verge of discovering the real story about the woman now known as Kimberly Kessler?
I believe 100% that Jolene was going to check to see who she was.
Investigators uncovered text messages Jolene had sent about the new employee, suggesting there was something off about her that she couldn't quite put her finger on.
Did you get a vibe between the two of them when she was in the salon?
Yeah, Kimberly was kind of standoffish, and there was definitely some tension between them.
Well, the theory is that Jolene Cummings was dangerously close to discovering, number one, that Jennifer Seibert was not Jennifer Seibert, and number two, who she might really be.
Towards the end, it had gotten contentious to the point that they would yell at one another in front of clients. And there had been a fight in particular where the argument ended and Jolene looked at her client and said, "There's something going on with her. I'm gonna find out."
I think that pushed Kim Kessler, Jennifer Seibert over the edge.
Just stand up and bend over a little bit for me.
With Kessler in custody, detectives begin searching her phone.
Her phone was definitely an insight into where her mind was, leading up to the moment that Jolene went missing. Jolene goes missing on May 12th. We see Kimberly Kessler's search history starts to shift from recipes and stores and the normal things to how long does it take for a body to decay? How to hide the evidence of a crime.
It was very weird what she was searching. You know, no body, no crime. How to dismember a body.
No one had any idea how truly evil she was, how truly unhinged that she was.
We're here in the alley behind Tangle's Hair Salon, or what used to be Tangle's Hair Salon. This was the back door to the salon.
And it's in that alley where detectives find another huge clue.
We have video surveillance from two different sources, and the dumpster behind us is visible in several of those videos.
The surveillance video shows Kimberly Kessler taking numerous large trash bags that are pretty full and pretty heavy based on the way that she's got to swing them into the dumpster behind the salon.
Her duties were not to carry out the trash, which was picked up Monday mornings. So it was unusual that after hours she would still be here.
Once detectives start piecing things together from inside of the Tangle salon and looking at the alley outside, they start to develop a theory that Jolene Cummings may have been dismembered and discarded in that very dumpster.
They processed the whole place, and there was so much blood there that nobody was going to survive that.
Investigators scan that surveillance tape, hoping for more clues, and boy, did they get one. They see Kessler driving by Tangle's as though she's checking to see if the dumpsters had been emptied.
We discovered that the local waste company had actually picked up the dumpster for disposal. And at this point, she no longer drove by.
Police learned that the contents were taken to a landfill in Georgia, about 25 miles away from Nassau County.
The FBI took the lead on actually searching the landfill.
The FBI Jacksonville team's been working around the clock in support.
This landfill is absolutely enormous. We knew it was going to be a needle in a haystack, but we knew we had to try to search and see what evidence or if Jolene herself was in that dump. It was 117 degrees, so it was miserable, but it had to be done.
It was gut-wrenching. I mean, I was in tears to know that you could be thrown away like trash when you were an amazing person.
But after nearly a week of combing through the landfill in scorching temperatures every day with no positive results, law enforcement called off the search.
Sheriff Leeper, he didn't have to say anything. His face said it all. It was a face of disappointment, of grief that we didn't find her.
Inside, this had to just be your worst nightmare.
It's a nightmare that no parent, no one that has a loved one should ever have to endure. The not knowing was the worst.
Despite not having a body or finding the remains of Jolene Cummings, the state attorney's office decides they are going forward with charges of murder against Kimberly Kessler, along with grand theft auto.
At the point that I'm coming into the case, I am focused on justice for Jolene.
With prosecutors now preparing to try Kimberly Kessler for first-degree murder, she's going to undergo yet another transformation.
Jordan Beard is Jolene Cummings' cousin.
And with behavior like that, is she actually fit to stand trial for Jolene's murder?
Kimberly Kessler has been charged with the murder of Jolene Cummings. And while she's being held, let's just say she isn't exactly a model inmate.
So Jennifer Seibert was brought here, and she's booked and held in this area. What was she like as an inmate?
She was hateful, mean. She did not like us. She would do the craziest things. She actually ripped her smock off and completely got naked, started smearing feces all over herself, and it just went from there. She then decided it was a great idea to throw it at us. So we were in there dunking, diving, trying to get away from it.
At a point in time during her incarceration, she began a hunger strike, went from 170 pounds to down around 80 pounds.
But her bizarre behavior didn't stop there.
Jordan Beard is Jolene Cummings' cousin.
At pretrial hearings, Kessler would disrupt the proceedings, yelling about her representation, yelling about her treatment in jail.
Jordan Beard is Jolene Cummings' cousin.
Her contention was that one of her defense attorneys was cousins with Jolene Cummings.
Jordan Beard is Jolene's cousin.
But Judge James H. Daniel rules that this is false.
There was no relationship between Jordan Beard and Jolene Cummings or anyone in Jolene Cummings' family.
Kimberly Kessler now has to watch the proceedings on a video feed from jail. And because of all that seemingly unhinged behavior, she's declared mentally incompetent to stand trial.
We had the hearing to determine whether she was mentally competent to proceed to a trial. And we presented evidence to show that she was delusional, she was mentally ill.
Kimberly Kessler had a lot of strange tendencies, and prosecutors did not believe it. They felt that she was putting on an act in order to avoid having to face the charges against her.
I actually went over there one day while she's not eating, and I wanted to talk to her, and I determined right then that she was putting on an act, trying to let everybody think she's crazy.
As time goes by, more hearings are held to make a determination as to whether Kimberly Kessler is competent to stand trial.
A judge is now weighing whether murder suspect Kimberly Kessler is mentally competent and whether she'll need to be force-fed.
At these hearings for competency, there was a psychiatrist who testified as to whether or not Kimberly Kessler could be a part of her defense and ultimately be competent to stand trial.
And you have found Ms. Kessler intelligent and strategic. Some of the things that she does are very intentional. What I mean is that her behavior is something that is thought out and organized.
Even Kessler's jailers were brought to the stand to say that they believed she was completely rational.
Was Ms. Kessler capable of communicating her thoughts and her needs to you? Yes, ma'am.
A high-profile murder suspect is competent to stand trial. That's according to doctors at a Florida hospital.
I felt like she was choosing to do this for whatever reason, and it was not the product of some mental health disorder.
Finally, after 3 long years, Jolene Cummings' family is in the courtroom, about to get their chance at justice.
Kimberly Kessler, a former co-worker of missing Nassau County mother Jolene Cummings, is charged with first-degree premeditated murder.
The trial was very much anticipated. Jolene's mother was very popular. She knew a lot of people, and a lot of people supported her. And it was a very tragic and traumatic situation for her. And the news covered it pretty relentlessly.
Just as this trial begins, it's almost immediate that Kimberly Kessler starts having her typical outbursts in the courtroom.
I refuse the public defender's office. They appointed Jordan Beard, Jolene Cummings' cousin, as my public defender. They appointed Jolene Cummings' cousin as my public defender. What, you don't want the public to know that?
She will be downstairs as she's been through the proceedings thus far. There are critical stages in a proceeding where the defendant has to be present. Trial would be certainly one of them. However, it's also my job to make sure that the state has the ability to prosecute a case.
The judge decides to excuse Kimberly Kessler from the proceedings, and now there's the opportunity for the state to actually get started with their opening statement.
The following evidence will establish premeditation beyond a reasonable doubt. Premeditation that the defendant planned Jolene Cummings' death. As Jolene Cummings made plans for the next day of her life, the defendant had planned Jolene's death.
Prosecutors are about to present the heart of what they insist is a pre-planned murder case. Video of a shopping trip, and what Kessler is buying will chill you to the bone.
Live at the Nassau County Courthouse, Shanice, Cummings' body was never found, but the state still plans to try and prove that case.
The prosecution begins laying out their case, and it relies heavily on circumstantial evidence and surveillance video.
CSU used luminol to find evidence of the defendant's cleanup of Jolene Cummings' blood. The luminol will glow blue to indicate the presence of blood. You will see evidence of blood from the stylist chair mat nearest the reception desk, through the salon, to the restroom near the back door.
Prosecutors argue that after spending hours cleaning the bloody crime scene, Kimberly Kessler, known at the time as Jennifer Seibert, went to Walmart to buy a set of items that paint a truly macabre picture.
The Walmart video and receipt, which are evidence that at 8:57 p.m., the defendant used her credit card.
There is an overhead shot of Jennifer Seibert in this dark shirt, her hair pulled up into this bun. And what's most interesting is that you can see specifically what Jennifer Seibert is scanning. She's scanning a large bottle of ammonia. She's scanning rubber gloves. She's scanning a large box of outdoor style trash bags. And she's scanning an electric carving knife.
This is not Thanksgiving. What is she buying this knife for? And I'm like, oh my God, she dismembered her.
Prosecutors say that this evidence ties into what they found behind the Tangles salon.
What are we looking at here?
That is Kimberly Kessler. She was not for the Carly thing.
In my opinion, Jolene was dismembered in that salon. Her body was then disposed of through trash bags, through different things that Kimberly Kessler ended up throwing in a dumpster.
Prosecutors allege that there was this blue storage bin. And inside of that bin, there was even more crucial evidence.
Later on, she can be seen taking a blue Rubbermaid out. Ultimately, that tub was found by detectives, and inside of that was Jolene's blood as well as a fingernail.
Why would Kessler kill Jolene? Well, prosecutors believe it was because Jolene was on to Kessler's games. In fact, a Tangles employee took the stand with some telling testimony, what she heard on the day of the murder.
Do you remember Jolene Cummings telling the defendant, "You're fake"?
You fake, yes. I remember scolding you fake, go away. I don't like you.
Jennifer Seibert didn't want to be found out as Kimberly Kessler. That's what it appeared, based on the timing of the comment that Jolene made and when this murder happens.
But the defense insists there is no evidence of premeditation in this case, and that's what's required for a first-degree murder conviction.
I certainly submit to you that that is evidence of conflict, of violent conflict. But what the state cannot offer you, what they have absolutely no proof of, are the questions that you need to decide this case. Who started the fight?
There's nothing to counter the theory that this had been a mutual combat, a fight. I mean, a physical fight between two women that ended up in one of the women dying. And that's just not first-degree murder.
The prosecution believed that they had, beyond a reasonable doubt, enough evidence to prove that this was first-degree murder.
We can see from her words, her internet searches, she'd spent at least a couple of weeks somewhere premeditating the death of Jolene Cummings. From her internet searches, it's obvious that she intended to kill her. That's all the evidence you need to find the defendant's premeditation beyond a reasonable doubt.
With closing arguments done, Kimberly Kessler's fate rests in the hands of the jury.
Breaking at noon, the jury has been dismissed to begin deliberations in the murder trial of Kimberly Kessler.
It had been about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, and we got a call that said the jury's back with a verdict.
All right, everybody please have a seat. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Madam Clerk, please publish the verdicts.
Ford versus Kimberly Kessler, aka Jennifer Marie Stivert. Verdict count 1, first-degree murder. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty of first-degree murder as charged in the indictment.
I think Anne was relieved. It brought her some closure. It was an emotional moment.
It's been a long 3 years. We miss Jolene every second of the day.
Jolene's family feels they finally found justice. But with Kimberly Kessler's trail of deception and mayhem, police have a lingering question. Could there be more victims out there?
I believe she's running from something.
It's a tale of two women, Jolene Cummings, hairdresser and mom, who disappeared on Mother's Day, never to be found. And Kimberly Kessler, also a mom, who spent years crafting multiple identities and was convicted of murdering Jolene. Now, Kessler is about to be sentenced.
Jordan Beard is Jolene Cummings' cousin.
And like so many times at trial, Kimberly Kessler disrupts the proceedings and is taken out of the courtroom. Before handing down his sentence, the judge hears a victim impact statement from Jolene's mom, Ann Johnson.
When my precious daughter was murdered, others died. I felt his struggle to make some sort of semblance of life since.
This court will adjudicate Kimberly Kessler, defendant, also known as Jennifer Marie Stivert, guilty, sentence her to life in prison.
She's also sentenced to 5 years for grand theft auto of Jolene's vehicle, which she'll serve concurrently.
Kimberly Kessler leaving the Nassau County Jail in this white van. A deputy was seen doing a rock-on hand gesture before her departure Friday morning.
We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate her homegoing, because her new home for the rest of her life and until she takes her last breath is going to be Florida State Prison.
What was it like for all of you when she finally was transferred after her guilty verdict?
Oh my goodness. We were so happy that she was gone. She ended up getting shipped out to prison quite quickly afterwards. We did celebrate. We had a cake. There's a picture of us.
Are you relieved that this chapter's over?
Absolutely. I'd never want to have to deal with that woman again.
With all of the strange happenings that seem to surround Kimberly Kessler, there's this notion among some that is there some other unsolved case out there?
With the information that we obtained, the number of aliases, the number of cities, the number of states, I believe she's running from something.
That's going to be law enforcement's job, to follow up and to see if there were other people that could have been victimized by Kimberly Kessler. There could always be a new connection to something that wasn't seen before.
Remember Sergeant Jim Walters, who knew Kessler as Christina Brooke back in Virginia Beach? He recently handed over information about her to cold case investigators there.
I told the deputy chief the information that I had on Kimberly Kessler, and he said, I've got 4 or 5 unsolved homicides around that area, around that time. The cold case squad would be really interested in this information.
As investigators keep an eye out for other cases that could possibly be linked to Kessler, Jolene's mom, Ann Johnson, is focused on her daughter's memory. Will you continue to want to search for Jolene?
Oh, I'll always have the hope to search for Jolene.
Occasionally, we will get calls for unidentified remains. And anytime we get that kind of call, always have hopes that maybe it might be her.
What is the world missing not having her in it?
She was beautiful inside and out. And again, she was first and foremost a mom. And she was a great, great friend, great listener.
How do you want her to be remembered?
As the bright, shining star that she was.
Lord, guide us in these next few moments. In Jesus' name.
I had a private ceremony. It was a beautiful, small service.
Even with no remains to bury, Jolene's loved ones remember her to the tune of Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
There was music at the gravesite. There was a headstone. And then my grandson asked me, Emma, why is there a headstone when Mama's not there? I said, this marks that your mother lived here on earth, that she needs to be remembered. And who knows, God's will, maybe we'll have something to put there. It's the only thing we have to live for, right? It's the hope. Without hope, what do we have?
Jolene's mom, Ann, telling me, David, that she hasn't given up on the hope of possibly finding her daughter's remains with the hope of having a true burial after all these years.
Let's hope for her. Kimberly Kessler has filed 2 appeals since her murder conviction. Both were denied. Her life sentence carries no possibility of parole. That is our program for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm David Muir.
And I'm Deborah Roberts. From all of us at 2020 and ABC News, good night.